Welcome to the video reference guide for your new RangeMinder. This state-of-the-art product from pioneering technology was designed to help protect you and your family from the risk of cooking fires. Before you begin installing your RangeMinder, please check that the following parts are in your RangeMinder box. 4 replacement dials, 8 labeled dial rings. Please note that 4 of these rings have been pre-installed on the replacement dials. A sheet of shaft adapters, 4 magnetized sensor rings, 4 batteries, 1 base unit, an installation booklet, and an owner's manual. If you haven't already done so, check that RangeMinder is compatible with your stove. For more information on RangeMinder compatible stoves, please visit us at preventcookingfires.com. There are 2 quick steps to confirm compatibility. Step 1. Check that the magnetized sensor ring fits properly. Pull a knob off of your existing stove and without removing the paper backing on the sensor ring, slide it over the exposed shaft. Check that the magnetized ring is centered on the shaft and that it sits flat against the stove face. Proceed to Step 2 before installing each sensor ring. Step 2. 10 sets of 4 dial shaft adapters have been included with your RangeMinder. Ensure that one of the sets fits the shaft properly. Select the shaft adapter that fits snugly on the shaft and has the square flange sitting close to the stove face. In some cases, more than one type of adapter will seem to fit, but only one type will have the proper distance between the flange and the stove face. Remove the remaining 3 knobs and clean any dirt or grease from the stove face that may be around the shaft. Once the stove is dry, it's time to attach each sensor ring onto the stove. Remove the paper backing from the magnetic sensor ring. Checking that the arrow on the sensor ring is pointing up, slide the sensor ring over the dial shaft and very carefully center the ring before pressing firmly. Repeat this process with the other 3 sensor rings. Now that the sensor rings are installed, push all 4 adapters onto the dial shafts. Now you're just a few minutes away from having RangeMinder ready to keep you safe from unattended cooking fires. For best results, select a wall outlet for the base unit that is within 15 to 20 feet of your stove. Touch the Learn button to prepare RangeMinder for its wireless connection with the new stove dials. The flashing red light means RangeMinder is standing by to connect with the new dials. It will remain in standby mode for 30 minutes. Calibration of the 4 dials can easily be accomplished within a few minutes, but if for any reason it isn't, simply restart this mode by touching the Learn button again. Each RangeMinder comes with 2 sets of printed rings for a total of 8 dial rings. The set of rings that have been factory installed are compatible with most electric stoves. The extra set of rings is for use with gas stoves. To slide off the pre-installed rings and replace them with the extra rings, hold the dial on the outside edge and squeeze the tabs to separate the 2 halves. Repeat until all dials match. You're almost finished. Now it's time to calibrate the dials. Do this 1 dial at a time. Insert 1 battery into the battery holder. Ensure the positive side is pointing towards the center of the dial. It is important that you do not touch the grip portion of the dial while installing the battery. Doing so will cause the wireless self-calibration to fail. Bring the 2 halves together. After a few seconds, the dial will begin to flash quickly. This means the dial is active. It's now okay to touch the dial grip. Holding the dial by the grip, place it on the range in the off position. After releasing your hand from the grip, the base unit will beep once. Proper calibration depends on your holding the grip portion of the dial and turning it slowly into position. With that in mind, slowly turn the dial to the high position and then remove your hand from the dial. The base unit will beep twice to indicate it recognizes this as the high position. Now it's time to teach RangeMinder where low is. Slowly turn the dial to the low position and remove your hand from the dial. Once again, the base unit will signal it knows this as the low position when it beeps 3 times. Finally, slowly turn the dial to the off position and let go. The base unit will now beep a number of times, to confirm that the calibration was successful. Check your installation guide for reference. Repeat the calibration process step by step for each of the remaining 3 dials. If any of the dials do not respond correctly, simply remove the battery in that dial and start over. All finished! Simply touch the Learn button on the base unit to take it out of Learn mode, and the RangeMinder is now functional. Now you can start cooking with peace of mind. RangeMinder. It remembers when you forget. For more information or to learn about other amazing products from Pioneering Technology, please visit us online.